Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Maddie Bloom, and I am working on an upmarket romantic science fantasy, and this is part 3 of my zero draft first draft editing series. So I've written my zero draft. I read through it, marked any characters, scene descriptions, symbols, injuries, moments of time, and then I filled out my story Bible in part 2. So now it is time to create a chapter by chapter outline to make sure that I know exactly what is going to happen in the scenes that I will be adding, as well as make sure that my timeline makes sense, especially because a lot of this is in transit. There's a lot of travel. So I just need to make sure that distances roughly make sense and I don't have two planets that are supposed to be right next to each other taking the same amount of time as from one planet at the beginning of the solar system to the end of the solar system. So that is my main focus writing-wise this week. So let's just get into it. It's been a few days, but they've been really productive. Friday and Saturday, I got through 9 chapters total, which made sense because I just naturally have stronger beginnings in my earlier drafts. I really have those opening scenes pretty well thought out in my head when I sit down to write. So the pacing and characterization and stuff just tends to be a little bit stronger and requires less editing on my part. And then Sunday, I took the day off and we went and walked around Fort Collins. They just opened up a mini-so, which is always fun to microdose on capitalism, as sometimes you have to do. And it was a lot of fun. It was super nice out, which I feel like I have to appreciate the nice weather, but there's also this underlying dread that it is because of climate change, and there's really not much I can do at this point in time. But it was super nice out, so, we just had to enjoy the day for what it was. And then yesterday was Monday, and I got through 2 chapters, and I ended up turning those 2 chapters into a total of 4 chapters, I believe, 4 or 5. Definitely a lot more character building and relationship building moments that I want to explore in that period of time that was just way too fast in that zero draft. And I have really been enjoying how intentional I've been, especially after last year where I think I just had too high of expectations in the beginning. And then when I couldn't live up to those expectations, it just killed my motivation. It killed, any desire to do something. So it was moving on to the next project and then just repeating that same cycle. So I think what has been really lovely with just letting go of expectation, writing that zero draft, and then doing a lot of this retroactive outlining and world building and stuff has really allowed me to build that initial momentum of telling the story, and if I needed to, getting to the scenes and story beats that in my mind, it just make the story what it is. It's like the Barbie sitting on the bench with that old lady in the Barbie movie. Those kinds of scenes where it's like without it, the story just doesn't work. And I could just skip to those, write a quick blurb about what needs to happen in between, and then move forward. So I really was able to build up a lot of momentum and energy for this project. And now that I've been going back through and writing notes to myself, and everything I've done since then just makes it feel so much more realized, makes the story feel so much more real, and I'm able to add so many more layers and nuance, and it's just been a really enjoyable process. Even with this outlining phase, I feel like I know my characters so much better. So when I'm writing out and expanding on these chapters, I know exactly what needs to happen, and I know how they can interact with one another to make the story just unfold very organically and naturally. And of course, I still will be very, very grateful for alpha readers to make sure that the pacing does indeed turn out the way that I want it. But I feel very secure in the work that I'm doing right now. Something that I was super excited to change in the story, there are bounty hunters and they are going after a bounty. And he was just like a thief and had a bunch of debts. But I started reading The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, and I love Donna Tartt's writing. And this is about stolen art. Is that a spoiler? Well, I mean, the book has been out for over 10 years, so sorry if that is a spoiler. I don't think it's like too much of a spoiler. No. Okay, it's about stolen art. And I decided to make the bounty, instead of just like a regular thief, an art thief, because to me that just makes the world feel so much more lived in, and that there is a world beyond the context of my main characters, that people have existed for a long time and they have been painting works, and these works are highly coveted, and there's like a whole existence outside of what my main characters are doing and what is important to them. I really like that change. I'm very excited for it. And I really love finding those small moments. Like making this change, it just took a little bit of reworking the character and minor plot changes. The timeline doesn't change, the story beats don't change. My cat is like rubbing against my tripod. So sorry if my camera's moving. It doesn't change anything really about the story, except for making it stronger. As I've been, growing my craft and reading and like paying attention to what other authors are doing, I've really noticed that the best world building comes in those small moments, because it adds so much context without info dumping or slowing down the story, or even really being anything that you're aware of while you're just enjoying the story, but it makes it so much richer. So, yeah, that's just something that I was excited about. But oh my gosh, it's like night because I did have a little nap and then I had dinner, and I do have quite a bit to do tonight. I'm in the middle of a chapter, so I'd like to get through the rest of that chapter and then maybe the one after that, because I also have to edit some social media posts because I am back on that social media grind. So I am consistent when it's time to start marketing the book. And I have to start editing this week's vlog because it is already Tuesday. So I would like to have that up by tomorrow on Ko-Fi for Ko-Fi members, which is linked down below if you would like early access to videos, a weekly little author check-in, and the first dibs on everything with my works in progress. So yeah, that is there. And that is just how things have been going lately. Very exciting. And I think that's all I have for right now. I think it's just time to get to work. We've made it to Thursday. And I feel like my skin has been so freaking dry. So we're doing a face mask. And while I wait for this to like fully dry so that I can wash it off, I'm going to do a word search or two. I have really enjoyed this little book of word searches. It was like $7 at Barnes & Noble. It has paid for itself because there are no ads. I have a Sudoku app on my phone because I love Sudoku, but I cannot get through a single game without at least 4 ads, and it drives me up a wall. So I've just enjoyed getting little activity books because I realized like I don't mind paying for things, and I mind even less when what I pay for doesn't come with ads. So I'm going to do 1 or 2 of these, and then I'll spend the rest of my time reading. I'm still working my way through The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I took yesterday off from Project ACOS, which was needed. I did take a little bit of a break, but then I still had to edit my upcoming YouTube video, which I did not realize I barely filmed. So the vlog is only like 5 minutes. So whoops, but it is what it is. So I did that. And then, yeah, I didn't write or outline. At this point, I'm about halfway through. And I think that I will split this into 2 parts. Like there'll be 2 outlining vlogs because it's Thursday and I'm probably going to just wrap this up tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. I'm going to finish letting this dry, get some activities in, and then I will talk to you later. Guess what? I just reached the midpoint and I'm really, really happy with the pacing of the story up till that point. I'm also very happy with the midpoint. We'll see how it goes writing it out. But as of right now, it feels like a very good mix of escalating the external plot and those external forces acting on the characters, as well as a huge emotional midpoint for the characters as well. One of the big themes that I really want to explore is perception as it relates to our identity and how we perceive ourselves, how we want other people to perceive us, and how we really are when the chips are down and you get pushed to that like sticking point. So really exploring the difference between like the performance of the self and who we are when there is like no veneer of what we want. And this midpoint definitely feels like a place where the characters have committed to fulfilling the role that they want and that they think other people want them to fill. So I really like that because now it is time to really push that sense of identity then and see if it can withstand even more getting thrown at it. So I am really, really happy with the midpoint as it is right now. We will see how that carries through the rewrites, but I do want to show you. This is the amount of the zero draft that was for the first half of the book up until the midpoint. And then this poor little neglected half is the second half of the book. And I really expected that. I don't know why. It's so much easier for me to write a stronger beginning than it is an end in these initial stages, but that's what this entire process is for, is to get this to be nice and chunky to be equal to the first half. And this feels like a really good stopping point because this is going to be more intensive than the first half was, because I really only had to break apart that one chapter in the first half. So this will definitely be more thought-provoking. So I think I'm going to take Friday off from writing as well, just to let this all like settle. And then that will be part 4 of this editing series. I think this is like a good natural conclusion. So that is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching if you have made it this far. If you would like to continue with this editing journey, then subscribe to my channel. I upload once a week, and because this was a huge accomplishment, I want you to share something that you have accomplished within this last week or month, whatever time frame you would like, whether it's writing related, other artistic endeavors, personal, whatever. I just want to celebrate with you during this monumentous time. And as always, I have my Instagram linked down below if you would like to follow me on short form social media. My newsletter is linked, Ko-Fi is linked, all of that in the description box, and I will see you in the next one.